Sean here, and if you haven't seen the video that Blu3boy put out where Casey is talking to Lauren about Paula, you need to watch it. You need to listen to it. Just trust me. Today, I guess you could call it a thank you video. Before I begin, we've had 2 content creators that have put out stuff that I don't think will ever be replicated, duplicated. I felt like the catfish calls dealing with Ember, they were genius. I'll never take anything away from those. They were the first calls that exposed who Lauren was and kept him away from real women. But in terms of these calls, they are the first ones where I didn't really feel like they were catfish calls. I feel like Lauren was put in situations, and yes, some of them were over the top, but he was put in situations that were designed geniusly, brilliantly designed to bring out who he really was. The robot calls, going back and listening to them, you guys know how I feel about the robot itself, not about the calls, because those calls are genius and they are brilliant. In Heelborne, I mean, you'd hug the guy if you saw him in person just because of how amazing those were. Going back and listening to Rod, hearing a rage-filled virgin go off about another virgin possibly having sex with the woman he hated but now loves, you just can't repay that. It's amazing. Because we know Lauren's a virgin now, 100%. No idea how to approach a woman except stalking her, showing up at places she didn't ask him to show up at, the boyfriend intervening. That's Lauren, so we know he's a virgin. But listening to Rod, coming into the picture, possibly having sex, losing his virginity, Sheffrey's kiss, man, Sheffrey's kiss. And as for Sheffrey, a guy who taught her how to make Italian sausage, had a catchphrase, and taught her a French word or two. Look at what that did to him. Look at how he went over the edge. Think about what went into that, the careful planning. What can we do to elicit a response? To test, to see if he has really changed. Looking back, I felt like this was some kind of scenario, some kind of test that normal people would be put in to see how they reacted. He failed epically. A lot of us would have walked away the first time we felt any disrespect. I don't know if Lauren would see it as disrespect. I think Lauren would see it as, you're cheating on me, and that's about as far as it goes. None of us would probably date a porn star unless you're younger. I've said that before. But Lauren, he just stuck around and he took it. He couldn't go get a real woman. They took a break. Lauren just waited around. Call, hang up, start texting immediately. Just repeat that cycle on and on and on. The way he just took the criticism, the way he took, not the abuse, but just the criticism. The way he just laughed it off like, smart ass. The way he's able to take any real criticism, any situation where he knows he's backed into a corner or where he knows he's in trouble, if things get discussed, he just starts chuckling like, It just shows he'll never take responsibility for anything. Ever. But Will was the key to those calls. He'd come on and obliterate Lauren with logic and facts. And Lauren would just want to shut down. I don't really want to talk to you about it. Doesn't understand that women have best friends. They could be men or women. He doesn't understand that. And Will is coming on trying to be a balm, trying to soothe over the situation, actually trying to help Lauren. But because Will has a penis, that inspired the epic Wildo, but because Will has a penis, he didn't listen. In real life, I don't know 100% if that is Heelborne. I'm going to assume it is. But if in real life, that's the guy you want in your life. You want that guy who's going to hit you with a baseball bat and say, wake the hell up, dude. If you want to keep this woman, please fix yourself. No, I'm good. She cheating on me. Because that's what Lauren always goes back to. We're never going to have another call like this that exposes his desperation as much. I've said that before about the robot calls. We're never going to have another call that exposes his desperation so much. A guy that hates penises, a guy that can't stand anything with a penis, thinks he's dating a porn star, willing to accept the fact that she's having sex at first because it's, as he says, in the rear. I just picture Lauren coming home from work. Yeah, Jamie, she can't make dinner tonight, Mom. She had to take it in the rear from about 50 guys today. I dream of that scenario. The fact that he would even date a woman who's surrounded by penises all day. The fact that he would even date a woman. You can't really date over the phone, but he believes you can. The fact that he would even be with a woman over the phone that had a male voice. A male voice. I just can't process that because of how Lauren is. He can't understand normal human beings speaking anyway. And I've mentioned that before. With the robot. How much plainer can you get when you're having a robot speak? The alliteration doesn't have that Maine accent, doesn't have the Nashville accent. It's a robot. Lauren, you are a complete douchebag. I just feel like the robot was so well designed, and the structure of those calls and the long-term planning. I thought they were genius. Now, I'm close to being done, I think, with the robot calls. I am. And then I'll be able to reference those better than I can right now. I just want to thank Heelborne for putting those out. Imagine the time it takes, the amount of your life that you give up, the way you have to put yourself in the right frame of mind and separate yourself from the characters. I think I would have a hard time doing it because even though, it's the robot or it's Will, I think I would forget that it's not them talking. And when you're trying to get through to him and you just keep hammering the same points home, I imagine you would feel some kind of frustration. People like me, you might even get upset. Even though he's an unrepentant alcoholic pedophile and someone who is just a terrible person, and you know that what you're doing is heroic, as I've said, keeping him away from real women, I still think I would get upset. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to Heelborne for putting those out, for keeping us entertained, for proving that he is exactly who we say he is, and that he has never changed and he never will change. Blu3boy has absolutely taken the mantle, taken the reins, just run with it. Those calls are pretty much what I've always dreamed of. A woman who just won't take a shit. This proves how desperate Lauren is. Nothing he says works. She will not give an inch. She calls him out on everything we've ever called him out on. Lying, manipulation, his fear of penises, the fact that he won't take responsibility, he denies everything. There are official records of him claiming that he faps it to little kids, and then he denies it. It's just like Denise's story. Why would they bring that up at NBC? How did they know that story, Lauren? How did they know that story if you never told it? And why would this psychotherapist or psychologist, why would they even print that? I mean, are they really going to spend all that time trying to frame a guy in the negative who lives in a dilapidated trailer in Maine, who is a threat to no one? You could give him national secrets, and the only people who would know are these catfish women? She comes along. She sets Lauren straight so many times. He calls or texts, it's important, I need to talk to you. And she said, Lauren, if it's important, I love this call. If it's important, go ahead and tell me. You must really want to get off the phone with me. No, Lauren, if you text somebody or leave a voicemail, hey, call me back, it's important, that's the first thing that could come out of your mouth. And then I'm listening to that call, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for whatever it was that's important. And so is Casey. And I just credit the person playing Casey so much, because I feel like they really are trying to help and show him what a real woman is like. A catfish would be like Winnie. Someone designed to drive him up the wall and see how long he will stick around and how desperate he is. Casey exposed him. We talked about this briefly, about his thought that, well, I didn't want to hurt him, even though he spent 9 months, a year, calling them cunt hole, crackhead, bitch, and everything else. Casey doesn't tolerate any of that. And the Alex situation, it's not an unrealistic situation. You have a guy, you thought you wanted to get together at one point. I mean, most of us have had relationships like that. You were dating and you decided it would be better to be friends. And they moved on. And you either chose to stay around or you didn't. Because the hurt was too much, you just let them go. Not Lauren. One time they made out. One time. Even if it was twice. He can't stand it. And we talked about him, and Casey exposed again that he thinks if you do anything sexual, anything romantic, it's forever. You've signed a deal with the devil. And with Lauren, it would be a deal with the devil. We know. We know what would happen. Well, you liked me once. Well, Paula, you talked to me, so I'm going to stalk you, and I'm going to show up to places you didn't ask me to show up. I'm going to show up to your friends' houses as well. Just listen to that Blue Boy Paula call. And you can listen to Lauren go a little, he goes forward, and then he's like, whoa, I better backtrack and make this sound like it's real. I better backtrack and make it sound like there was really something there. He's Butters in South Park, who falls for the Raisins girl. Come see me, sweetie. All she wants is his money. But Paula didn't even want anything. I'm dealing with a situation like this right now. Someone asked me to speak to their brother. Their brother is falling for this trap. Come see me. He's a stripper. He threw a bunch of money at her. She contacted him via social media, said she wanted him to meet her. Of course, it was at the strip club, and it's in the back room. She ghosted him. He drove around the city for 2.5 hours. That just shows you, how deep this goes. She just wanted more money. And he didn't realize that. He really thought she liked him. And that's Lauren. He thinks any woman who speaks to him likes him. Blue Boy also, on those calls, Casey, I have to talk about Casey because that's the woman in the calls, continued to expose the fact that because Lauren has interest in you, even though you're friends, because there's something that could potentially happen in the future, no penises can be around, and you are not allowed to date anyone else while he's thousands of miles away, while you're surrounded by people who are successful, that want to go out and do fun things. You're not allowed to do that. You have to sit around, not do anything, and wait for your friendship over the phone to blossom into something that he thinks is going to be marriage. He meets a woman, he's already talking, what happens if we get married? Genius. And she didn't have to really even do anything. She just kind of talked to him and he did the rest himself. It's like watering a plant. You don't have to do much. Talk to him once a week, man. And it's a blossoming romance. You guys are headed to marriage, headed to a relationship. I think you can all see this. Lauren gets interest in a woman, and it's on. That's it. That's it for her. No life. Focus, concentrate on him, please. So I think with Casey, she just continued to show that the same guy from the Paula era, from the Nikki era, he still exists. He hasn't changed. Getting in trouble hasn't changed him. Harassment suits hasn't changed him. Interventions have not changed him. So Blue Boy, from the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank you. I don't think we'll ever get a catfish like this again. I don't think we'll ever get anything like you and Heelborn, and the way you truly exposed him, used his weaknesses, showed him his weaknesses, tried to get him to do what was right, and he still wouldn't. So I just want to tip my hat to you and say I genuinely appreciate everything that you guys do. And if one day we have a Lordography meetup, you'll be some of the first people I want to meet. Because I think if Emma ever showed up, I'd try to get her to do the Winnie voice. That's where I'd head straight. Boom, can you please do the Winnie voice? But I doubt that would happen. I doubt we'll ever have a Lordography meetup. I would love to meet you guys. and maybe one day talk to you guys. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all you've done for this community, for the entertainment, just for what you tried to do for him. That's my video for today. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.